And welcome back to another edition of the John Wayne Search Protector podcast, 6040 production. Eric Halsey.
I'm Alex Midway, and as much as I love furry animals and the squirrels in my backyard, I'm sorry, you're not going to be using my Ring camera to find yours.
Yeah, that was how long do you think it took them how to throw that commercial together?
Yeah, not too long ago.
Yeah, no, because once they came out and they were like, yeah, of course we're sending all this footage to ICE. Like, never mind, it's about puppies. It's about puppies.
I saw the whole thing. It was like a meme. He's like, how do we market the mass surveillance state to Americans? Like, Ring, puppies. Like, the U.S. government, puppies.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I watched it and I was like, you know what? What a great story. And as soon as it was done, I thought about it for half a second. I was like, wait a minute, aren't these a-holes sending this to ICE?
Yeah. Like, essentially, Ring, they denied this, of course, but they said they're working with Flock, Flock Security, and they're doing this whole thing, and Flock has contracts with ICE, where they're pretty much uploading this, all these images into some AI software to find people. Like, and it's not gonna be long before they switch Dockhound to Brown Guy.
Yeah, I am no longer confident in anybody dealing with their own conflict of interest. I think we all lost our social security information because we trusted, you can see my air quotes here, Elon with no, I will be in charge of what is and isn't a conflict of interest. Yeah, and I trust Ring about as much as I trust the clap at an orgy. So no Ring.
Yeah. So what's it called? I got done with the Artie Lang book, and now just listening to God. Who's the one comedian that's old school?
Richard Pryor?
No, white guy.
Chevy Chase?
Napalm and Silly Putty. George Carlin, baby.
Oh yeah, Carlin's fantastic at pretty much everything.
And Carlin's like, yeah, man, we all just pretty much gave away our rights for the possibility of being protected and safe. He's like, there's none of that happening. Like, you're just eroding your own personal freedoms on the grounds of being protected and safe.
Yeah, I always thought Carlin was funny, but I didn't love it when I was like 18, 19, because I was like, seems preachy. And 20 years later, my God, it could honestly be just like a Washington Post article. I was like, wow, everything he said was correct.
Yeah, guy's on point. But enough of the old. Let's move on to what's happening. And what's happening is more of the old, because it's 397 last time we left you guys. It was 417 on Monday, and it went right back up to 425, and the zombie stock has returned. So it doesn't matter that last week Elon went to Pedo Island. Europe is out there choosing Volkswagen for their brand. And I mean, it just went right back up after the weekend.
And there's no other way to say that it's rigged. It's impossible.
It's wild. Like, there was a story out there that said, like, the amount of Teslas sold in Australia. Can you guess what that number is for the entire country of Australia in January?
So I have no idea about anything about Australia. The most I've ever looked into was that Mission Impossible 2 was there for a little while, and Crocodile Dundee. So I'm assuming most of it is like Aborigine wilderness.
Yeah, but it's essentially a whole lot of sunlight you're going to get down there. So putting solar panels seems like a pretty smart idea. And in January, Tesla sold 501 cars. Meanwhile, BYD sold 5,001 cars. And their stock actually went down. So I don't know what's happening in the market.
Maybe I need to look into Australia. There might be more people there than Crocodile Dundee led me to believe.
Well, the great thing about Australia is they actually don't have a Cybertruck even offered. They're like, nah, mate, you're going to take that thing to your own island. So, like, they don't even have it. But about the Cybertruck, one thing like Elon's been saying, he's like, yeah, the reason our stock is going to go up is because these Optimus robots. And he's, we're going to sell these robots and we're going to bring them to market in 2026. And again, I noticed something called Elon Time. Elon Time is essentially BPT. And if you know what BPT is, you know. It's also sometimes referred to as CPT, and it is being late. And back in the day, if you remember when his Cybertruck was first coming out, he tweeted about 146,000 were pre-ordered. Then he said it was 200,000, then 250. And to date, it's been less than 100,000 have been sold.
Yeah, so as I'm starting to since the pod, I've been retaining information. Um, Conservatives numbers are just a construct. There's no actual meaning behind it. They just can say whatever they want. Like for instance, like we're good at economy, despite the fact that 40 years of data shows the opposite. It's the same thing with these guys, and like what was it? Zuckerberg was like, I don't know, 600 trillion bajillion dollars. Like you make up the number. I don't care. None of this is actually happening.
That sounds like someone who's a little bit whiny about his prescription not going down 820%.
That is talking to somebody whose prescription he paid today jumped $100.
Well, have you tried being rich?
Yeah, no, I mean, as a poor, I've always been told just to go buy more money,
Yeah.
but for some reason, I can't just wrap my brain around it.
Have you considered trust funds as a form of a job?
Well, I talked to my boss and I said, what if we drop my salary to just $10,000 a year and we roll everything else into stock options, and then I just borrow off of that? And then it's really about my potential as an earner versus an actual salary, and that way I don't have to pay taxes. And he also said I was too poor to do that. So,
Like, hi, my pronouns are C Corp.
yes. I would like to be a corporation now.
I am people too.
Yes.
So the thing about the whole Optimus thing that Elon's talking about is it's about to become a crowded market. So look for him to move on to something else. Because the guys at Boston Dynamics, and they are a spinoff from MIT. So everyone knows MIT. That's a whole lot of brain trust. And they've been doing this since 92, and they've been doing nothing but robots. And they went ahead and they said they're rolling out robots this year. And honestly, I'll put my money on the nerds from Boston, other than the Nazi from South Africa who keeps running to fairer pastures as soon as competition appears.
I've never heard of Boston Dynamics. And at one point, I had 2 DVD fulls of the seasons of BattleBots. So I don't trust either of these guys.
So you might not remember Boston Dynamics, but you must have seen that one video. It was like the little dog that was walking across the screen, and they then it started hopping around like a little grasshopper. And then they made the humanoid robot, and they had a whole thing where people were trying to knock it over, and it would just stand there. It was like early little Temu Terminators.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's Boston Dynamics, and they've been doing this way before you heard about Optimus the robot being a popcorn monkey.
Well, yeah, it sounds like they've got a little history and little longevity in this so far. So can't wait to see how Elon bankrupts this, then rolls it into SpaceX.
He's making a lot of promises as of late. He did say, what's it called? Back in, I think, 2012, he said, within 10 years, we'll put somebody on Mars. And just recently, he said, well, in about 20 years, we should be able to knock this one out the park.
Yeah. And somehow people just keep buying into it. I do not understand it. I don't know how, but Israel is behind this.
Elon Time's wild. So, but I do want to say one thing. On the podcast, we do give out credit where credit's due. And as we roll into the Ukraine update, I do want to go ahead and mention something that Ukraine's newly installed defense minister, Mikhailo Fedorov, has been creating a whitelist of Starlink terminals used by the armed forces of Ukraine and sent them to Starlink owner Elon Musk, asking him to keep those operational while shutting down others in the Ukraine theater. So essentially, Russia's been using Starlinks to help pilot its drones in Ukrainian land. And one thing, they've reached out to Musk, be like, hey man, you mind shutting these things down so they stop bombing civilians? And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know if that's quite like we're going to give credit yet. Let's see if there's some follow through. But I mean, fingers crossed.
I mean, the fact that they're able to just even send it out to him, I guess, is a good sign. If they knew, like, oh no, this guy's not going to do it. Because Elon did cancel a Ukrainian op when they were trying to get into Russia. And he's like, I don't want to start World War III. So the fact that he doesn't want his technology to be used for war, hopefully goes both ways.
Well, like I said, fingers crossed. It doesn't sound like a horrible ask. Like just have them stop targeting civilians. But Yeah, this is the world we live in now, so we can't tell.
One thing you can tell is the dream team of real estate developer Witkoff and slumlord Jared Kushner have not gained peace in Ukraine. And in case you're keeping track, we are about 392 days or 9,408 hours behind schedule that President Donald J. Trump said that he would achieve peace in Ukraine after he took office. Color me surprised, but two guys with background in real estate not getting results in negotiations, like I didn't see that one coming. But on this end, we do have good news because now a man with real estate and bankruptcy background, the President of the United States, have said that Ukraine and Russia have until June to work out a ceasefire. So clear sailing coming up.
You know what? Credit where credit's due. At least he didn't say 2 weeks ish. Like he normally does.
He's going to be like, I don't know, it's maybe July. I never said June. He's like, sir, you do know cameras exist. He's like, you're fake news. You're a very
Hoax.
angry woman.
Hoax. Why don't you ever smile?
Because I'm talking about pedophiles? Like, you're very angry. He's like, you should be too.
It's the only time I do smile. Hoax. I didn't say that.
You took that out of context. Like, what are you talking about? That's just you.
Oh, God. I hate this place.
We do have good news because the next round of talks are going to be happening in Miami. And if you listen to OAN or Steve Bannon, Zelensky has a bunch of homes here, so he should feel comfortable to negotiating. And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say that the talks are going to be at Mar-a-Lago, and we're going to get billed out the eyes for all the stuff that they're going to say they needed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the second part of negotiation strategy, lock this one in, is Trump's going to say if there's not a ceasefire by June, he's going to start sending howitzers to Russia instead of Ukraine.
Well, it's clearly, we've decided this is Ukraine's fault for getting attacked. We still not sure what Ukraine was wearing when this happened, but we're definitely going to be pro-Russia on this bad boy. That's pretty clear.
You don't go around displaying all your natural resources and all your fertile land, and not expect to get invaded. That's on you.
Yeah, no, I think it's Zelensky's fault for not having Jesus in his life.
That's what you get for being a Jew. Should have been a good Christian.
Morons.
Did you hear his story about Steve Bannon and his whole upcoming try to get rid of his conviction?
I did do a little bit of digging into this scumbag.
So, for anyone who's not paying attention, Steve Bannon's currently in the process of getting his conviction of being in contempt overturned. Back in the day when we used to care about January 6th, they told Steve Bannon to go testify. He went ahead and ignored it, and it actually went to trial, and it took 3 hours to find him guilty, and he served 4 months in jail. The whole thing about him, the 3 hours, I don't know how, why it would take that long. Hey man, you were told to appear here, did you? Yes or no? But apparently it took 3 hours because his defense attorney was bringing up signatures. See, this one's not exactly the same as this one. So it could have been a ruse, and that's why Steve Bannon didn't show up. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
See, this is why my signature is different every single time.
There was also another thing about it. So another thing was Steve Bannon was getting looked at for his Miami house left in a jacuzzi covered in acid. So they were saying that he was actually getting rid of people in that bathtub. So Roger Stone came out and he said, no, it's cool. A receipt where Bannon bought the acid has been recovered. Chemists tell me that the hot tub was most likely used for making crystal meth rather than dissolving his enemies. So we've come to a no. I wasn't killing anyone. I was just making crystal meth defense.
Well, allegedly, it sounds more like he was disposing, not doing actual murder. So allegedly. Yeah, I don't know. It's how people are like, I should continue to listen to this man. I will never understand.
When your defense is no, Your Honor, I was making crystal meth. I wasn't killing people. At that point, it's time to look at new legal help.
Yes, I did defraud a bunch of people by having them give money so we could put up a fake wall. But don't pay attention to my hot tub filled with acid. It's just for drugs, not for disposing bodies.
It's wild. And
And
the
people
whole
and people are still like, the guy's smart. The guy's
yeah,
smart. Like, God.
4D chess, brother. So the overturned process actually started by Janine Pirro, the woman who drinks a lot of wine and yells at people. And she signed a letter, and no other prosecutor co-signed it. And she signed a letter to U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols to overturn the whole indictment, the one that he ended up convicting Bannon for. Like, and the wild thing is, like, why would he overturn something that he just said was true 4 years ago? Like, what changed from then till now? Weird.
The laws mattered back then.
Nowadays, it's like, listen, man, we'll get you on the next plane out of here, and if you don't overturn this. And they're talking about, he's like, yeah, we should overturn this indictment in the name of justice. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
This is the same Jane Pierre that just said if you have a gun in D.C., you're going to jail, period, right?
Yeah, well, if you bring one to a protest, you're not there to do a peaceful protest. You're inciting violence. Like, this time we're gonna go ahead and enforce that.
Oh, do as I say, not as I do, I guess.
But going back to the Ukraine thing, and this next one's a little bit of a doozy. It's before Trump's out there shipping Abrams tanks to Moscow in an attempt to get peace, we have something called the Demitrov package, and it's named after Kirill Demitrov. And if you've been paying attention for a little bit, it's the same guy who did the whole 28-point peace plan, and they just went ahead and Google translated that from Russian to English. He was the same one behind that. And the Demitrov plan, or Demitrov package, is essentially a $12 trillion economic package where Russia and the U.S. will cooperate and do great things together.
Yeah, no, I mean, all of this adds up like monetarily. Russia has this sort of like something close to that sort of wealth, right?
Yes, almost. It is currently GDP at $2.5 trillion per year, and it is promising $12 trillion economic package.
So they're going to invest 10 trillion more into us than they currently have.
Yes. Essentially, that would mean their entire GDP would go into us and then another 10 trillion on top. And honestly, I think we're biting on this one because our president loves large numbers and he hates explaining things and he loves the taste of Russian testicles in his mouth. And it's been a while since they've been there. So he would 1,000,000% jump on top of this.
Yeah, we're screwed. And honestly, so is Ukraine. This is numbers are just a construct. Why Gavin Newsom isn't like California just made $250,000,000,000 this year. We're the number one economy on the earth. Like, why he's not doing this yet, I don't know, but I can't wait for him to do it.
Like, everybody out there, like, looked at Russia's GDP, and they're actually in a wartime footing. And the way that it's set up right now, if this war ever ends, like, their economy will collapse. And that's part of the reason why Putin doesn't really want to end the war, because it's based on war. And that's how they put the dollars on the table, like, with all this. But he's like, oh yeah, I don't know, promise $12 trillion. Like, we're never going to deliver on it. I don't know. F it, make it 15, make it a round number.
Well, if that's what he likes, I can't wait till he sees what I put my tax return in for.
They fired all those guys. Put whatever you want. It's laissez-faire.
Yeah.
But did you get a chance to watch Clancella, which is apparently the best name I've heard for the Turning Point halftime show?
I had not heard that one yet, and kind of disappointed in myself. That is fantastic.
Clancella is amazing, but I honestly, like, I strolled Twitter. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be gold on here, and then I saw like Kid Rock. I'm like, why is he dressed like Angus Young from AC/DC, but way worse when it's on him? Like, he's got chicken legs just jumping around. I'm like, wait a second. I was like, I still hear sounds from the microphone when his mouth is not next to it. It's like, Jessica Simpson, Rock, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I looked into this one, and he was definitely asked about, were you lip syncing? And Trailer Swift said 100% denies lip syncing despite his mouth being almost a full second off from the audio in this sparkly abortion. The dumbassery gets even funnier and more embarrassing when you take into account that this whole stupid show was pre-recorded. But hey, sometimes things can go off the rails, especially when you're dealing with a massive crowd of roughly 200 racists.
And I do want to go back. It wasn't Jessica Simpson. It was Ashley Simpson. Do you remember that SNL performance?
I do, of course.
It's classic.
SNL's where I get my news.
I mean, the Onion's where I get mine.
Yeah. But I also did a little bit more. Definitely didn't watch this stupid show, but I did jump on for highlights for comedic value. Brantley Gilbert, who is a country singer, kicked the show off by singing something about dirt roads and real Americans while wearing like a $2,000 Louis Vuitton shirt. So that should tell you just about everything you need to know about this stupid show. Kid Rock took the stage wearing jorts and an oversized fedora like a 5-year-old who just found $100 outside of a Goodwill.
I mean, Kid Rock sticks to his brand. I'll give him that. He hasn't changed anything. He's like, listen, if I'm not dropping the kid in my name, he's like, I'm not changing the look. I'm surprised he didn't show up with a chain wallet. But is this Brantley guy? Yeah, Brantley Gilbert. Is he the one who's like, I just want to fish and drive my truck? Was that the song?
I don't know. They all look exactly the same.
And Kid Rock had a come to Jesus moment too. He's like, I had this one. I woke up and it told me about this one verse to finish. Like, buddy, that's like the My Pillow guy who's addicted to crack, and then one day he's like, I need to make a better pillow. He's like, no, buddy, you need to get to sleep and stop smoking crack. Like Kid Rock telling you about Jesus, about the same like moral high ground.
Yeah, well, you know what? It worked on the Mormons, so who's to say? So best of luck to you in your future endeavors, kid.
I mean, they got private jets, we don't.
But so obviously it was a giant war between T Pussy and the NFL over halftime shows. So for those of you keeping score, true numbers aren't quite out yet. It's still probably going to be about a week, but current projections are looking like T Pussy had somewhere between 4 to 5 million viewers, while the NFL somewhere between 125 to 140 million. So another big L for Team Racist. More funny, even the Puppy Bowl got an estimated 11 million viewers. And for all my MAGA math majors out there, that means Erica Kirk's fever dream of real America lost to puppies by at least 6 million viewers. Christy Nome could not be reached for comment. R.I.P. Cricket.
Well, Turning Point would have had more, except like right before it started, and that gives credit to their the background department. They're like, yeah, due to licensing rights, we can't broadcast on Twitter, so go tune in on YouTube, I guess. And next year, I'm guessing it's going to be just on Truth Social.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think about the Bad Bunny halftime show?
Disappointed, to be honest. I get the whole thing, like him being on the the power lines and then falling through an actual, like all he did was fall through a roof, walk out of a cornfield, and a Grammy to a child. Like I wanted the weekend level event when the like costume changes, like crazy stuff like that. When it's all just in one spot, I'm like, meh, I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah, I got really excited when like all the like big things of grass right before it started, you kind of saw like a hand come out the side of one. I was like, oh my God, all the grass is about to start dancing. And I waited and it never happened.
Yeah, like as soon as I saw those two guys grinding on each other, I was like, oh, somewhere in Alabama, a lot of TVs just lost power.
Yeah, I was honestly, I mean, visually it was cool, I guess. Obviously, I don't speak Spanish, so I didn't really get the songs. I was like, I don't know if this is for me. And then some big booty Latinas started shaking around. I was like, oh, never mind. I'm here. Yeah, this is for us.
Like it was great. I mean, I don't like the production was kind of like man, but then again, we've been spoiled by all kinds of crazy productions in the past. And the fact is, like, a bunch of racists were out there calling out the show, so you may have had to dial it back. But I like the message in the end, and everyone's complaining about, like, why is there not American flag there? Like, if you actually pay attention to it, the American flag ran out first. And America is a nation of effing immigrants, you stupid inbred idiots. Like, all those people are in your country, and some of them are your neighbors. Like, that is America.
Yeah, your ancestors who probably weren't here at the very beginning, but let's say for argument's sake that they were. Yeah, that wasn't them digging holes and building railroads and keeping them plantations in order. That wasn't you. That wasn't us, man. It's a nation of immigrants. That's what makes us number one. We're awesome. So
Something,
get with it, or I don't know, go back to Europe. See how well things are going there for you.
something melting pot. Like, I don't know, man. Like, we didn't always just have white bland chicken. Like, it had all kinds of culture.
Yeah, yeah. Tired masses wasn't just white people. So
So, what about Stefan Diggs and Cardi B?
could not care less. I honestly, I was a big Stefan Diggs guy. I liked them. They kind of went off the rails, and yeah, I don't know. Got nothing for this.
You can't feel the same amount of empathy for someone who spent a $1.2 million for a post Super Bowl party. Like, what kind of a monster are you?
I'm in the middle of planning a overpriced wedding, and so I understand that. He's also been a millionaire for like 8 years now. So no, I feel zero remorse for all these people.
Buddy, that wasn't him paying for it. Apparently, Cardi B threw down for 1.2, and then she ended up leaving early because Stefan Diggs' other baby mama was there in the front row. And Cardi B just had his kid not too long ago, not even a month back.
No, the NFL's Nick Cannon is, I guess, off to a terrible 2026.
God, if this causes the Patriots to implode next year, that'll be the best thing to happen.
Oh, it'd be fantastic. May they rot.
One of the things, like one of the first commercials that was actually displayed, there was a bunch of them, but one of the first ones was essentially the Trump accounts. And they're like, yeah, kids nowadays, all the way up to 2028, are going to get a bunch of money and they're going to get $1,000 to kick in to the bank account because Trump cares. And did you read anything more about this? Did you see the commercial?
Saw the commercial. I heard about the account like a couple months ago when he first pitched the idea. And I figure it's like everything else. When it comes time to actually like pay out, it's just not going to be there.
Oh, no. I think it will be there. But it's essentially, so the whole, it's the fine print in this. So this is kind of like when during the pandemic, all the rich people thought, like, I don't know, what do they need to live on? $1,200 for 4 months ought to do it? Like, all right, fair enough. Cut them 2 checks for $600 each. Like, they're still crying about it? Like, ugh. So these accounts, the government drops $1,000 in them. And that's it. But you or anyone can donate up to $5,000 per year. And I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of incentives and everything else to it. And it's supposed to help poor people invest and take care of the kids. But the reality is, like, if your insurance just skyrocketed and your SNAP benefits are gone and you found out that there is no tax and overtime was kind of a lie, like, you don't have money to dump in here. Like, you're other than the $1,000, that's going to be the end, and that's not going to help your kids save anything.
Yeah, and the way prices are going up because of tariffs and everything, like when baby formula is like already like it's costing you $100 a week. What are the chances you have this extra money to throw in?
But it's kind of like rich people. Rich people have that cash to toss in. They're going to get a tax credit for it. They're going to be able to be even more well off. It's kind of like the school vouchers. Everyone's screaming for school vouchers. That is a subsidy for rich people because a school voucher doesn't cover the actual tuition costs of a private school. It is a subsidy for rich people to put them in there. And then you're screwed at homeschooling your kids how President Trump is the best president out there.
Yeah, it's almost like the system's rigged and just it's getting riggeder.
They just keep falling for it. So I do love every article. It's there's a group on Facebook called The Leopards. I didn't think the leopards would eat my face. And it's all the Trump supporters like, what the hell? Like, these policies are affecting me and not the Browns. Like, I didn't think the leopards would eat my face.
I voted to be racist, not to be poor.
So, but the one thing is, like, when all the money disappeared for SNAP and couldn't be found, you're about to see the government find a whole lot of money real quick because there might be a shutdown on Friday, and that shutdown might shut down DHS with ICE in it. But God forbid ICE stops working, so they're not going to be there. But Republicans have emphatically rejected Democrats' proposals, calling them ridiculous and radical. Have you heard about these radical ideas?
No, please tell me more about our terrible, off the wall, extremist ideas.
So these psychos, and I'm gonna leave a list for all of this. It's gonna be in there. You can take a look at the Hakeem Jeffries website, or you can just, I don't know, read whatever you want. But it sounds like a radicalized school shooter's manifesto. At the top of this list is a requirement that immigration officials obtain a warrant signed by a judge before entering a private home or business. Something, Fourth Amendment, but you know what? Sometimes you don't have time for that when you're deporting the guy outside of Home Depot.
Well, like Mike Johnson said, who has time for due process with all these problems we have?
Why do we have these laws getting in the way of authoritarianism? Like, this is weird. This isn't America.
I can't wait to see him in The Hague. Oh, it's going to be gorgeous. My nipples are getting hard just thinking about it.
Blows his brains out before we take him alive.
Then we send his kids.
Why not? Sins of our father.
Yeah, absolutely.
But another thing, Democrats also want to prevent ICE and CBP officers from carrying out their operations anonymously by banning them from wearing masks and requiring them to display their ID on their uniform, like, cops. So you know what it is. And honestly, the whole downside of it is they're saying a lot of people will quit. And if your whole argument is if people see what I'm doing for a living, I will have to quit. Like, maybe it's a pretty bad job you're in, homie.
Yeah, I mean, you think all those guys in those Epstein files would have actually banged those kids if they thought, all their emails would get released at some point? You're the bad guy. You're the bad guy. There's no other way around it. History has never been like, you know what actually wasn't that bad? All those SS Gestapo fellas. No, it's you. It's you.
Like, the executioner during the medieval ages wore a giant hood. He's like, I can't let people see what I do to my fellow man. Like, the same thing we're doing here. It's like, wait, I have to take off his thing. Like, oh, it's like the same thing as a Klan. Like, if you really rally behind your ideals, you'll be able to say them. And granted, the hilarity of us doing this without seeing our faces, but that's because we want to keep our jobs until we can get out.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't agree with us here in Missouri,
Yeah.
but we're no longer looking at ourselves with the lens of hypocrisy. So yeah, what we're doing is right and everybody else is wrong.
And some things that the Democrats, demon rats as they're called, their demands want an end to racial profiling and immigration arrest. And now what you boys are asking for is just ridiculous. Racial profiling is a part of our culture. We've profiled the Italians, the Irish, the Chinese. I'm popular with the blacks. So obviously the next evolution is for the brown folks to experience it.
Yeah, and I can already hear like Mike Johnson being like, well, if Mexico had more white people, we wouldn't be, we wouldn't be profiling this way. But it's, again, if you have to hide your face, you're wrong deep down inside. Your little virgin skinny jeans, you're not right. And that's why you have to cover your face. And that makes you a coward and a sissy and a loser.
Did I send you that one Instagram thing? It's like the cartoon movie. It was like the White House press. He's like, hey, one question. He's like, yeah, he did it. He's like, he did all that stuff on the island. He's like, what the hell? He's like, yeah, and you know what? Nothing's going to change, you big baby. He's like, we're going to keep moving on. Like, at what point have you guys like, I don't know, man. I don't have to explain anything. We control the House and the Senate. Go F yourselves.
Trump could they could release those videos that are definitely allegedly in those terabytes of Epstein files of him DPing some poor 9-year-old girl. And they're going to be like, yeah, but what was she wearing? Like, do we know it's him? He's not holding his passport or anything. Like, they've chosen a side. There's no getting around it. If nothing stopped you now, nothing's going to stop you further. You've already committed. You're in a cult.
Yeah.
I cannot wait till you drink that Kool-Aid, every one of you. Maybe that'll free up the housing market.
Do you remember the Lay's potato commercial in the Super Bowl?
No.
So essentially, it's this one like dad farmer. He's like, I think it's time you take over this farm. I was like, and then in the end, he's handing her keys. I was like, you big stupid, you're about to go bankrupt and she's going to get a S-load of debt. Like J.D. Vance's company's getting that farm, you big dummy.
And she immediately sells it to Acre Trader.
Mixed-use residential goes right up in a data center.
Yeah, I was wondering why Lay's didn't like bring up like that farmer's probably a welfare queen getting government subsidies. It was weird. It was almost like if it's the heartland, you can't talk about that.
It's like most of our potatoes are done by small farms. Like, no, they're not.
Not anymore. Now that you chased away all your field hands.
Ain't no white boys out there field picking corn. Get out.
Well, circling back to who we used to pick on, Trump went on yet another wild retruthing spree Thursday night, posting a video of some conspiracy theorist with quote unquote proof of the 2020 election being stolen because he ain't over it. The real fun began at the very end of that video when it suddenly switched to a brief clip of Michelle and Barack Obama's faces superimposed onto apes. It's a tough one to defend for anyone with morals or class or a sense of decency, but luckily in this brave new world, we have Carolyn Levitt at the helm. Quote, an internet meme video depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King, unquote, is all this really was, so get over it.
The fact that they came out, I was like, yeah, just stop with this fake outrage. It's like, it's really not that big of a deal. We're just playing him as monkeys. It's like, we also have him as the Lion King. I was like, where? I was like, all I see is the Obamas as monkeys, homie.
Yeah, that was definitely an isolated section of that. So basically Carolyn was basically like everybody's overreacting. It was just a fun little video. And that argument would make sense if it played through the entire video. But isolating just the Obamas at the end feels like a different kind of message. And an old back when we were great again kind of message. Am I right? And according to various reports, the White House was blasted from calls from other Republicans, ones that are coming up with their own, whose jobs might be on the line next year, all morning until they finally took the video down 12 hours later. Once it was down, the official White House story changed to it wasn't Trump from his personal account. No. It was an unnamed White House staffer, and disregard everything Carolyn Levitt just said.
Yeah, there's actually a video of him coming out. It was just him and one other person have access to that account. And then in the end, like right now, the current story is where he asked him on Air Force One. He's like, I didn't make a mistake. He's like, I said what I said. It's like, Jesus, dude. And first of all, why is he always on Air Force One? Like, how much jet fuel is this dummy running through?
Well, you don't expect him to drive to Mar-a-Lago.
We always took Fox would take dunks on Biden. He's like, Biden's out there going home to Delaware. It's like, yeah, that dude takes the railway. Like, he's not taking Air Force One. Like, he's a normal fella. He's like, Trump flies everywhere to his own resorts and bills us for. He's like, that's a smart business person. Like, he's screwing you.
Screwing us. Yeah, it's bad. But it did get me thinking this weekend. Do you think other administrations have been this evil lying to America forever? They're just better at keeping their lies in order? Because this feels like when you catch a 6-year-old in a lie and he just is like, nope, not saying I'm caught. I'm just going to keep gaslighting.
This is 101. We've never had a felon. Like the founding fathers, like, hey guys, you want to put something in about felons not being able to be president? Like, there's no way we're getting dumb to the point where we're ever going to elect one. He's like, all right, fair enough. We'll think of everything else, separation of powers and yada, yada, yada. But like the felon thing, you guys sure? He's like, yeah, no way they're ever going to get to that point. Like, okay.
Dumbest timeline. Lastly for me, Ted Cruz tweeted out his feelings about Virginia's gerrymandering plan, calling it a brazen abuse of power and an insult to democracy. 47% of Virginia voted for Trump. They will now just get 9% of the seats. It's a fair point. However, Texas famously gerrymandered once again last year because Daddy told them he needed 5 more seats. Also, Texas has 1.5 million more registered Democrats than Republicans, despite being a deep red state for over 40 years.
I do love Ted Cruz. He's like, what the hell? He's like, they're doing all these things. Like, buddy, you started the arms race and now you're losing it. Like, I hate to break it to you. And every time they have elections in Texas, they're like, you gotta vote for us so we can fix things that the Democrats screwed up. Like, you boys have been in power for a long, long time. I was like, you can't blame the Democrats anymore.
Well, when you're pandering to the dumbest bastards on America, that's what you get.
But you guys are fact-checking?
Yeah, exactly. But my new favorite politician, 82-year-old Virginia State Senator Louise Lucas, my girl Triple L, took time out of her busy day to give a detailed and thoughtful response to the most unlikable cuck in all of Texas, stating back, "You all started and we effing finished it. I hope they have a pig heart ready for this 82-year-old beauty because I need her to live to 160.
Like, the first Boston Dynamics robot is just her. Like, hell yeah. I was like, this lady's never leaving.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no term limits on this one. Let her go forever. But kill Mitch McConnell, allegedly.
So we are starting to wind down here. We are dragging a little bit long, but one thing before we punch out of here. Apparently tomorrow's the jobs report's coming out, and currently the administration's like, hey, don't worry about a thing, guy. It's everything's doing great. And anytime they're prepping you that hard, it's gonna be bad.
Or it's just going to be another Democratic hoax, or we're going to be at 100% the best levels of all time, the best jobs president on earth, another thing we win at. I mean, it'll be one of the two. Best of luck to us.
But there's also a third option. That's Biden's economy again.
Yep. Well, this is what happens when you base your whole economy on Hunter Biden's laptop and Hillary's emails.
I do love it. But we're getting ready to punch out here, and I will be going on a much-needed vacation since I just literally got back from vacation. But we will not be seeing you guys until, well, essentially 2 weeks from now on the 24th. So thank you all for listening. We'll try to get some content out there, but most likely not. And yeah, see you in 2 weeks. I'm Alex Midway.
And I'm Eric Halsey.
Daddy, chill.